Blessings, BookTube. I'm so proud and pleased to be back here with another um, instance of Thai fiction for you. This is a wonderful book um, by Poonvoralak called The Most Silent School in the World. The school part I can definitely explain as I can. The world part, the silent part, you'll have to explain to me. It's not a mystery I solved in the reading of this book, which will leave you with lots of mysteries, and you'll be glad to be left with them. It was shortlisted for the SEA Write Award in 2009. SEA would being Southeast Asian. And the translator is Samila Wenin. So the author, wasn't surprised to find out, was a poet, and once operated a website called belcanto.com, or no, just canto.com, sorry. Although unfortunately it's not still up and running as of today. They went on, they did 10 or so books as of the publication of this, and they went in, started into making short films, and had plans for a feature film. I'm not sure if that happened or not. So this school is all about the pupils. So we'll leave the teacher mystery for the moment. There are 8 students to begin with, and these are sky, wind, thunder, fire, water, earth, mountain, and pond. They range in age from 10 to 27. So sky's 27 and wind is 20. And then fire and thunder are 18 and 19. Water's 18 as well. So they're all older students, shall we say. Earth's 15 and mountain's 13. Pond is the little one at 10 years old. For our boys, for our girls, symmetry operates a lot in this book. I would say when it first began, I was definitely gave me a feeling of the Prophet, Khalil Gibran's Prophet. Each very short chapter would sort of be poetically circling a theme. This is an impressionistic book. It will not repay a type A reading. So roll with the concepts. It can be aphoristic. All ideals end in the void is a sentence there. It's not, although it's not, its tone is not the darker shades of existentialist. Nor is it overtly Buddhist, although I'm sure there's that in there. So it's got paragraphs like the appearance of the butterfly. There are details of the school given, but one doesn't develop a really concrete picture. There's fireflies at one point, there's mosquitoes, there's a mango tree. At a certain point later on, there's caverns. The students have different interactions. Their characters, I would say, are not allegorical, but again impressionistic. They're painted in light traits, and I would call this, rather than magical realism, I would call this realical magicism, in that you've got these fantastical things happening, but every once in a while you'll have a real world detail. So at one point they play cards, and so there's a very serious gambling that one of the students is maybe never going to come back to school because they feel so bad that this other person owes them like an amount that they can, they work 24/7 every day trying to pay off. Most of the longings and sort of amorous and sexual stuff is sort of, I would say, circling about. But there is at one point, unfortunately, act of sexual aggression. There's one point at which there's sometimes the students have fears, and at one point someone says, "Are you afraid of being human trafficked?" So I have these real world details like that, but I mean like not many, and just scattered through the book there, it'll bring you back into like the reality of contemporary Thailand. But otherwise, we're sort of in the ether. We could be anywhere, not just on Earth, but possibly in the universe. Case in point, at a certain point, the students are often wondering things and having questions. And they're wondering about the moon at a certain point. And when they start wondering about the moon, they create moon versions of themselves. So there's now another classroom for another 8 students. So there's now moon, and the genders get reversed. And of course, the ages start changing because the Earth ones who were there first, they start growing older. And then the different, new cohorts that are added have different ages. So now there's a moon sky, a moon wind, moon thunder, moon fire, moon water, moon earth, moon mountain, and moon pond. So that's very interesting. So I would say at this point I started to realize we're more in Little Prince, Petit Prince land than the prophet. So instead of going to visit all these different planets, these sort of planets are visiting us with their strange themes. If you remember the drunk in the Little Prince who drinks, why does he drink? To forget his shame. What shame? The shame that he drinks. You get to see these sorts of mental flights happening in the Oort cloud, which is later on another wondering that the kids have. They are having a question about where they would like to, what fascinates them galactically. And some will say the rings of Saturn, the Oort cloud, the black hole. And so they create Oort cloud versions of themselves, black hole versions of themselves, comet versions of themselves. Center Earth is one of them, Earth versions of themselves. Towards the very end, I was wondering what would happen because they start talking. You think by now they would have learned, right? And they're not always happy about these new versions, these new students coming in. And each of them have different interactions with their moon selves and their Oort selves. And there's at least one coupling. This is sort of more serious romantic coupling that results. There's never physical fighting, but there's, and it'll be weird. Like one, towards the end, they're twins. And it says, well, you could never get to know us. This is one that made me think of that, the drunk in the Petit Prince. She says, you can never get to know us because once you start try to get to know one of us, then the other one will interrupt. And so he says, well, I met you first, so I'm going to try to just be friends with you. And then, of course, very quickly, the twin asks, well, you're not giving my elder, they say elder and younger twin, elder twin a chance. You haven't met her yet. And so the other character, I can't remember if it was Earth Fire, I think, says, oh yeah, you're right. That's not really fair, is it? And so you see, she's already interrupting. So not quite circular logic, but really interesting. Okay, so where is this all heading? I'm going to spoil the ending for you. As if this is the kind of book that could spoil an ending. The field. At a certain point, they're talking about the field. If it had been referenced before, I missed it. So this is really interesting, right? So 2 girls go quiet. Who's talking here? Moon Thunder and Moon Mountain. I want to know what will happen when the real field is full. This is kind of out of nowhere, apropos of nothing. And she says, I understand there are 3 possibilities. The field will expand to infinity. The field will collapse. The field will transform itself. I have no idea which of the 3 will happen in the end. Perhaps 2 of them can happen at the same time. Like there may be both expansion and transformation. But I'd love to see the 3rd happen. It's alive, growing, and quite simple. When the field is full, then it transforms itself. The silentest spacecraft in the universe is an example of such transformation of the field. So we feel like we're moving towards an end, and you think something's going to happen with that, but it doesn't. But it sort of tells you that it's not going to, right? And then this last bit of wondering they have. So these are the four winds. The four winds, are they in one of the caves? No, they're in one of the classrooms, and they're talking, and they're saying what moment in time they would like to visit. And let's see, who is that? Mountain Loam Earth Wind says he would like to go to the moment that their father fell in love with their mother. Rings Winds says they would like to go to the Buddha's death moment. Moon Wind says they would like to go to the first and the last, the moment of the first and the last man. And then Moon Wind says, oh, excuse me, Earth Center Wind says they would like to go to today because it's happening now. And you think that, okay, you guys are wondering again, you're going to create whole new versions of yourself that are going to be first and last man versions of yourself and rings versions of yourself. I mean, excuse me, and Buddha, Nirvana Buddha versions of yourselves, and dad falling in love with mom versions of yourselves. But in fact, we run out of books, so that doesn't happen. The last, I guess, attempt towards some resolution might be, here it is. So a couple of the students are speaking, don't remember which, Skyfa and Winlow maybe, and both turn to the lawn again. I feel our school is the smallest real field. How do you know that? I don't know. I don't know why I feel like that. It's probably just a guess. I guess things. You know that. Skyfog gives a simple answer again. Winlam can't help laughing at this flat answer. That's your ingenuity. You really don't believe in evil. Why? Winlam asks. Because I believe that truth is neither an abstract nor a concrete, but the field. That way, all evils disperse into some kind of illusion. Skyfog gives another simple answer. Winlam can't help laughing again. You're unbelievable. Both fall silent for a while. So you see, it's never quite tending towards a resolution. But if I had my own choice, it would be when one of the students is saying something like, I hope they'll be less ambitious. So this is going to happen when all 512 students of the 64 Thunders arrive at the school, which is becoming like this spaceship, as it adds on classrooms. Or maybe space station might be better. Anyway, they say, I hope they'll be less ambitious, because then they might be more content, more at peace. So that's my wish for this beautiful, wonderful, poetic, really, really fun book. The chapters are super short. Each one you could think about for, a long, long time if you wanted to. Or you could just tear through them as I did in one quick reading. But I hope that some of these questions will reappear to me in my dreams. And even the characters, as sort of undefined as they are, I feel like they could enter my life, in some mysterious way. So check it out. A real gem of Thai literature called The Most Silent School in the World by Poonvoralak.